Begin, we're going to do more ear training, and I'm basing a lot of today's lessons on the exams I've gotten back so far. And so I see there's things we do very well, and there are things that still confuse a little bit. And most of what confuses us confuses everybody, which makes teaching much easier. There's nothing worse than when everyone's confused by something entirely different, and then you don't know how to teach. So the first thing is I want to talk about the difference between fourths, fifths, and sixths when they're melodic. Well, we play a second, just get this thing ready to go so we get the share going properly before I start waxing poetic. Um, so just take me one instant. Always forget how many buttons you have to push. And did I hear, is that Daviel arriving? Did anyone hear? No. Okay. Um, so you can all see the screen there, and hopefully you can hear it if I play on it. Yes? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear and see the finale screen. Okay, good. So what I've got at the beginning here is I've got a fourth, a fifth, a minor sixth, a major sixth, and then a tritone. What I found interesting was that we get these things confused, and I understand why. A second, it's kind of obvious that that's some form of second, and the minor second is really kind of nasty. So telling those apart we can get. Now we can usually eventually get the thirds too, but once we get bigger, you just sort of hear these cavernous sounds, and they're very hard to distinguish. And for the most part, they sound kind of pretty. So I wanted to first just play them a couple times, get them in our heads, and then practice them a little bit. This is the range that really gets us. So, like the fourth sounds like this. And, I don't know how to describe the sound. I mean, hopefully you hear the two different notes and hear bum, bum. That's the fourth. It's the so to do. But if you just hear for quality, there's something so open about that sound. It's so open and pure. Now, the fifth is also an open and pure sound, but it's a little more old-fashioned a sound, if you'll forgive me for putting it that way. Um, it sounds like this. Now, again, we want to hear the two notes, the fifth, but if we can't hear them, we still hear it. To me, that sounds like jesters in medieval and an old castle movie. So let's compare the fourth and the fifth again. Here's the fourth. If we compare it to the fifth, we get this sound. Now, the sixth has a very similar open sound, but to me it's warmer. So here's the major sixth. And I can almost picture it going, it just seems like a pastoral. To me, it's a very warm, beautiful, out in the sunshine kind of sound. And the minor sixth is just a little bit richer. Maybe a little more ominous. That's, of course, yeah, da 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 da, love story. And then the one that by itself is easy, but when you've heard a bunch of chords, it gets very confusing, is the tritone, because the tritone has got to go somewhere, but it's not as ugly as you'd expect for a dissonant interval. It's actually kind of sweet. But I hear that top note wanting to go up to the C. That's how I hear it. So I'm going to play that set again so you can hear each one by itself. I'm going to open up for discussion, and then we'll practice a little bit. Perfect fourth. Perfect fifth. Major sixth. Minor sixth. And the tritone. Okay. Who's got something to say, something to share, a question, anything? Who's got it? So you ready to practice? I got a thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. Okay, let me change the share so that you cannot see, because that would be cheating. Not really, it'd be my fault, but let's change it anyway. All right, let's practice a set of these. We gotta sense them in our head, but that doesn't make it easy. I think I got like 6 of them. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it's 5 intervals. Let's see if we could name them. First interval, and I'll play it twice. The second time. Second interval. Second time. Third interval. One more time with that one. Fourth interval. Fourth interval again. And the last interval. One more time. Let's see. All right, let's see how we did. So the first interval, and I'll play them each time as I say it. The first interval was a perfect fourth. Then we have a major sixth. Perfect fifth is next. A minor sixth. And then a tritone. Okay, hit me with the chat. Just tell me how you did so I know what we have to practice next time. Okay, so quick jot in the chat would be nice. Good. Good. Yeah, so and people we mix some of these things up and we think, wow, they're so different. But the ear doesn't always listen to our intellect. Some things are not as different as you'd think. You think, well, this one's dissonant, this one's consonant. How do I mix them up? But we do. And we each have our intervals that we mix up. I used to get so embarrassed because I would mix up like big intervals like sixths with thirds, and that's just an inversion. But it made me feel kind of dumb that those are close together. I would put them as far apart. It's like I couldn't hear anything. But it was just how my brain was wired, and so we mix things up. But the more we practice, the less often we mix them up. It doesn't never go to zero. We're human beings. So we'll continue to practice this. This is a tough one to practice. And remember, if you have a time, practice them online if you have real trouble, because in lab, you may not have enough practice time to get it done. So I've got some other things to practice off the exam, but I want to do something a little new first. And so far, when we've been taking our dictation, our melodic dictation, we've been taking our melodic dictation only in without accidentals. So let me zip to the end here and give you an example of what I mean. Let's say I'm in A minor. I'll just be in, let's be in D minor. D minor would be normally this key. I'll just write all the quarter notes. Right, that's natural minor. We know that, but we also know that because there's no leading tone, composers often will use the harmonic minor. And so let's look at two melodies. I'm just going to quickly compose them here. They're almost identical. So here's one in D natural minor. Let's see. And okay, the oboe doesn't have an A, so you have to imagine it. And then if I write the same melody in harmonic minor, and then there's the A again down. So one of them, and the computer kind of messed this up for us. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to just da-da-dee-da-da. Why is that not showing up? Da-da-dee-da-da. I messed something up there. Wait a second. Let's try this again. I must have hit a plus sign. There we go. So if you listen to these two melodies, this C is different, and you have to know it's a sharp. So we hear the scale, and if we hear a leading tone here, it's sharp. If we don't hear a leading tone, if it's a big step underneath the tonic, it's a natural. And this could be a little confusing when you first do it. Let's listen to the first one with the natural. I'm going to put it up an octave so we get the whole thing to play. Sorry. We want all the notes. That will do it. And then let's just take out that upper octave here. Make it easy. Okay. So listen to the comparison. That's a natural minor. And that's the harmonic minor. And even though it's got that big old skip, we're so used to this sound that it's really, you don't even think there's an accidental in it. But that seventh degree, the note before the key, is raised. So let's play those two back to back again. Get it in our ears. Natural minor. Harmonic. Now, normally, if I were to give you a dictation on this stuff, I wouldn't tell you which kind of minor. You'd have to hear it. But we're just beginning. So I'm going to tell you right now, after I eliminate the share so you can't see it, that I'm going to take a look. I'm pretty sure that I am in melodic minor for this. Let me just get there, be sure. Yeah, so I've got a melody, and it's going to be in harmonic minor. I'm also going to give you a hint. It's in A minor, no sharps or flats, but it's going to be two-part writing. So if your key of A, if A is 8, you have to think what's 7, and that's the note that will probably be sharped. And again, if I didn't tell you, you'd have to listen for it. But we want to get used to it first. So I'll give you a hint. We're going to probably be in harmonic minor. I'm going to play each part 3 times. I'll give you one more hint. There are no eighth notes, no triplets, no 16th notes. There's quarters and halves. That's all you have to worry about for rhythm. It's 4/4 time. It's only 2 measures long. Really want to see if we can find these accidentals. So we're going to play it 3 times with the top emphasized and 3 times with the bottom emphasized. And see if we can get this dictation. The soprano part starts on an A quarter note. That's A in the middle of the staff. The bass starts on a C half note. That's C at the top and sort of the middle C position. And we're in A minor, no sharps or flats. 2 measures, 4/4 time. I'll let you set up a grid. And now, let me just share the sound. And let's practice it. So 3 times with the soprano boosted, then 3 times with the bass boosted. Let's see how we do. First time. Let's do that a second time. Here we go. And the third time. Now let's do the bass part the first time. Remember, it's a half note C is what it starts on, C being middle C. Here we go. Let's do it again. Oops, sorry. And the last time. All right, let's take a look and see how we did. So we start on the tonic. We end on the dominant. That's not that big a surprise. Goes up by scale, and then we have a leap, but it's that leading tone goes right back to the tonic. If you hear the tonic in both places, then there's what your G is, and that's going to be the sharp leading tone. And then we have that skip to get down to the dominant. So we have, there's our skip is here. In the bass part, we start on the C, we go down to tonic. So we have to hear that jump, we have to hear where tonic is. Just goes back up, it's going to come back to tonic here, but we've got that leading tone again. So we leap to the G sharp to the A. Remember, the 7th degree is what's sharped. That's the G. If A is 8, G is 7. Notice that when we have the A and E together here at the end, that's that 5th with that hollow sound. And that's a pretty weird sound. We normally would have filled it in with a third of the chord in modern day. But that's, and you can sort of hear that and say, oh, we've got to end on a 5th because that's weird. Now, if we play it together with things in balance, hopefully you can see all these things. Let's play it together. Including that hollow sound there. Now, if this was not harmonic minor, if it was natural minor, then these would have been natural. And you can see, oops, you'll hear in a second that the sound is quite different. Yike. Come on. Get over there, cursor. Then it sounds like this. We are so used to these sharps that we don't even notice that we've added accidentals in the minor key. So it sounds like this now. All right, share with me. How'd you do? So close. So close. Good. Excellent. Yeah, always harder to hear the bass. But I'm so glad you got it top. And you know, when I first started doing these with accidentals, and I didn't have a very good teacher, I'm gonna blame it on that, but it's not that, it's talent. I had a lot of trouble with the accidentals. And then one day it just occurred to me, oh, it sounds different when there's an accidental. And then it was after that was like, oh, there's the different note. It must be the accidental. And once I started to hear it, I got really good at it. But it took me a while to recognize when things sounded a little different. And minor is where we see most of the accidentals, but it's also where they're harder to spot. They're a little harder to do sometimes because they sound so correct to us. And when we go into major, we'll see them on secondary dominant chords and things. But in minor, they're all over the place, and it takes a little getting used to. All right. Well, we're getting a start. This is a brand new thing. Don't expect it to be perfect. But now, as you can expect, we're going to, I have you there. Good. We're going to do one more new thing. We're going to talk about rhythm. Now, rhythm is a challenge for some of you, and we're going to make it a little harder because we're adding a triplet. Just what you need, a little bit harder. But I want us to get used to hearing our rhythms in patterns of beats. Now, some things take 2 beats, like syncopation. Ba 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 takes 2 beats. Ba 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 takes 2 beats. But a lot of times things actually only take a beat, a pattern's a beat. So for example, the rhythm I wrote up there is 1, 1 and triplet, 1 E and up. So triplet is 3 notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then 1 E and 2 E and 4 notes. 1 and 2 and there's 2 notes. And let me just share this green screen, not the green screen, the whiteboard for a second. You know, one of the troubles when we're trying to take dictation is we spend so much time trying to write something down, we stop listening. So if you try to write like this, if you try to write 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then I have to put the 3 and the 3, and then I go, now I need the 4. And by now, you know, you're 4 measures later and you haven't gotten it done yet, and you're really stuck. So that's sometimes what you want to do is you just want to put notes that you could fill in later. So if you put your slashes in early, now I don't have a little thingy again, so I have to reshare it. Hold on a second. I have to reshare so I can draw. Once I hit the eraser, it won't let me draw again. Who designed this? It wasn't me. So what I do, so I put my beats in there, right? I put beats in, beats in, beats in for my 4 beats. And then I'll do something like, okay, that's just got one. That's got 2 notes. This is a triplet, 3. And of course, it's hard for me to write this way. You guys can write faster. 16's 4. So if I know there's 3 beats here, I know it's going to eventually be a triplet. I fill it in after so I can hear everything. There's a chance it's going to be something like this, So I may have to work on the one that's got 3 beats in it. But if I got one with a 4, I know it's going to be 4/16. Eventually, I'm just going to draw that and put my little thingies in here. But I don't have to waste time drawing it. I put the 4. That beat's already done. I've written it down for myself. Now I'm just putting notes on. So what you want to do as you hear it is hear a grouping and have a notation for the grouping. I mean, you could do S for syncopation, and that takes up 2 beats. Or you can put a bracket. If it's the only 2-beat pattern you have, you just put a bracket saying, okay, I got a 2-beat pattern there. But come up with a shorthand so you could just jot things quickly so you don't stop listening while you try to jot down the rhythms, because we could hear 3s and we could hear 4s. We just get so caught up trying to write all the bar lines that we stop listening. And while we're at it, this is what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to take a beat, make it a relatively slow beat. It doesn't have to be with me, but get a beat going, and then do 1. 1. So you feel what 1 feels like. Then do 2s. 1 and 2 and I do my hands with it. 1 and 2 and. That's easy because the hands will help you physically feel where 2 is. Then a triplet. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, triplet, triplet. Then 16ths. 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and triplet. 1 and 2. Now, I picked a slow beat, too slow, and it's actually really hard to do. It's that slow. The faster it is, the easier. 1 triplet, triplet, 1E and 2E and 1 and 2 and. But do that for about a minute. Just practice going back and forth between 4s and 3s and 2s. And I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to do that. And then we'll see if that helps you pick up these rhythms. Okay? So go ahead, practice. I'll turn my thing off for a minute.
I think you're muted.
Okay, so let's go now. This is the rhythm that you were basically practicing. A 1, 1 and triplet, 1E and. Let me play that a couple of times. Just for some practice. Don't look at. I don't know if you can see these other things. I'm trying to cover them all up because that's practice thing, and you don't want to see them because then it wouldn't be practice. It wouldn't be good for you. So let's just play this a couple times and see if you could just get these rhythms, just like we've just practiced. So 1, 1 and. Wow. First of all, that's too fast. And second of all, I forgot to put the articulations in. 1 second, so you can't hear them. There we go. And let's put a slower tempo in there. Let's see. How about tempo? Let's see. Edit that and change it to oops. Let's duplicate it first. Edit. Let's make it 62. See if that will do it for us. Okay. So now let's just practice this thing. This is what you were practicing, hopefully. Come on. Oh, I see why. Here we go. Let's do it again. So you do 1, 2, 3, 1 E and a triple lit, 1 E and a, here we go again. Let's do it one more time so we hear those differences. Ready, go. So those are the rhythms we're going to use. And let's just see how well we do. Again, this is new. We've never had a triplet. And rhythm is one of the hardest things. So we're just seeing how well we do. Do not expect perfection. Do not even expect to be good yet. Just, we're just experimenting. We're having fun. We're exploring. So I don't want anyone getting frustrated, at least not yet. So here's the first rhythm. The rhythm is only 2 measures long, and it's in 4/4 time. It doesn't even have 16ths in it. I'll tell you that right now. It has other stuff. So at the same tempo, 2 measures, 4/4 time. I'll give you 15 seconds to get the grid set up. Here we go. Ready? Begin. Okay, I've added a little more space to it. We're going to play it again. And don't forget to come up with a shorthand so you can mark it down as you go. Ready? Let's try it again. Let's do it a third time. Whoop. Daviel's just joining us. Hey, Daviel.
Good morning.
Good morning. You missed us adding accidentals to our 2-part dictation. Oh,
No,
aren't you disappointed?
I'm very disappointed.
Yeah. Well, right now we're taking a dictation we've added triplets to it in a rhythmic dictation. So we're partway through, but get ready. It's just 2 measures long of 4/4, and I'll play it 2 more times to give you a chance to join us. All right?
Okay, thank you so much.
That's good to have you here. All right, here we go, guys. 2 times, you're in luck because Daviel just came in. You get to hear it an extra time. And last time. So before I show you the answer to this one, I've got one more of these to do. Let's again go back to the whiteboard. and see how we could come up with a shorthand. Your shorthand's gonna be different from mine, so so feel free to create any shorthand you want. But I've got what I would have put in here just to show you what I would have done, and then you could do it any way you want to do it. I would, of course, put in my grid 2, 3, 4 beats, and then another big bat. I put big beats for the measures, and then I'd think, okay, 1, 2. I think that was a 2. I can't remember what that actually was. 2, 1, and then 3. Just the number of beats in a measure, and then it was 1, and there was 1, and then this last one took 2 beats, so I put a little bracket or something. I could have typed it. I could have put anything I want. Then once I do that, I can go back and say, okay, eighth note's there. That's going to be a triplet. Now I don't know if that's everything else is quarter notes, so I just put in quarter notes, and that's a half note because it takes 2 beats. So I could do a shorthand that's very quick, and everyone's going to use their own. But writing all the beams actually takes longer than you really want to spend. So you want to get notes down or some frame of reference and convert it afterwards. Now, if we look to see how successful we were, this is what the answer is. Let's share it. So 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 1, and then a 2 beat thing. If we hear it, now again, we just did an exercise where we clap the beat, 1 and then triplet, 1 and triplet, a knee and a 1 knee and a. So we get the idea of 3 beats, 4 beats in a beat. And again, tap your finger during the thing so you keep the beat steady. Before we do the next one, you know how it works. Send me a text. How's it going? Are we learning anything? Are we making any progress? I got to find you guys so I can see it. Chat. Send me something in chat. Good. Some progress. Progress is all we ask for. But you are going to have to take typing because you're too slow at sending me messages. I thought you guys were supposed to be the kings of texting. Yeah, so it looks like the rhythm is still messing some people up. So we're going to have to practice. And I think practicing on your own too will help. But I'll try to make sure that we always do some rhythm practice. So let's do another one because rhythm is hard for some people. It just is, It just is. So let's do another. Let's do another rhythm. And we should get the sharing set up correctly again. This is going to be so much easier when I just have a chalkboard. Wow, what luxury. Who knew? Who knew I'd miss a chalkboard? All right, so now this one, I will give you a hint. Again, there are no 16ths. It's still in 4/4. It's still eighths, quarters, triplets, halves. But I will give you a hint. Somewhere in this 2 measures, somewhere there may be syncopation. And again, if you can hear the syncopation pattern, you may just want to put an S up there so you know where it is. It takes up 2 beats. So you can fill that in with an S at some point and get your shorthand working. I'll play it 4 times and let's see if we get this rhythm. It'll have maybe some triplets, maybe some syncopation, maybe some eighths. 2 measures, 4/4 time. Here we go. Yeah, let's do that one again. Here we are. Third time. And the last time. Stop you, stop. All right, let's look at the answer. So again, if I was going to draw, I'm going to make it big this time because I like that. I was going to draw my grid. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, the first rhythm was ba ba ba. That's our syncopation. Ba ba. So I would just write an S over those first 2 bars. If I had time, I might quickly do that so I see it's 2 bars. But that's an S, not a 3. And then there's a 1 ba 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 bum ba ba ba. 1, 3. I think it was ba ba ba. I think that's what it was. So ba ba is a 2, 1, and then I just put a bracket over there because it took up 2 beats. Ba 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 ba. And I could clap my hands or tap my fingers for those beats. So once I see that, syncopation is eighth, quarter, eighth. Then there's a quarter. That's the 1, then a triplet. So I have to put 3 notes with a triplet. Put little note heads in there if I want to. Don't have to. I know what it is. Then I've got 2 up there. So put a bar line. And there's my 2 eighth notes, a quarter, and then something that takes up 2 beats is a half note. And my shorthand allows me to write this out. This took me a long time to write, but I can do this while I'm listening in real time. So that speeds me up. And let's see if I got it right. Let's see how good my memory was. Hold on a second. Let's see what the actual correct answer is and not just what I thought it was. Here we go. Ba 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 ba. And again, the groups. There's my syncopation. That's just a beat. There's my triplet. There's my pair of eighth notes, quarter note, and then this takes up 2 beats. So I didn't have to think that much because I see it in sets. And if we play it, you can hear it. Are we getting better or worse, everyone? Send me notes. Wow, a new message came in fast. All right, progress. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. I mean, it goes from impossible to difficult to seem to be getting closer to all of a sudden you get one right. You think, wow, I could do this. I mean, you're not going to get them all right, but you get one right. You say, I could do this. Yeah. Okay. So I'm happy for one of you. The others haven't sent me notes yet because no one can type. Well, I will assume I recognize what that means when you don't type. So one more thing I wanted to talk about today, we skip the scales. In the scales, people did very well on the exam. And I think once we know what things are and what to expect, we do well. One thing so let's go do something new. We also did very well at hearing when something was a major chord or a minor chord or diminished. So the next step is to know what kind of seventh goes with them. So I'm just going to show you this. We're not going to actually practice it today. We'll show it to you. We'll start practicing it on Tuesday, and we'll just see how well we do. But a major chord, we know what this sounds like. It sounds like this. There are 2 kinds of sevenths we can add to a major chord. One of those sevenths is a major seventh, and one of them is the dominant or minor seventh. So when you have a major minor, that's a dominant seventh. If you have a major major, that's just a major seventh chord. So let me go over there so I can show you how those two sound different. They both have a major chord on the bottom. So the same bottom sound. Here's a major, major. I mean, to me, that's a very warm, romantic, kind of perfumey sound. Whereas the major minor sound is a little more sort of classical driven sound. We expect that to go, we sort of expect that to resolve. So it doesn't have that kind of perfumey, floaty sound the major seventh has. Major chord with a minor seventh. Now we also got good at recognizing a minor chord, which sounds like this. You know, that's the darker version of the stable chords. The only seventh we ever hear with that minor chord is the minor seventh. It's not the only one we can do, but in this level of theory, all the minor chords have minor sevenths. So if I add a seventh to it, to this minor chord, it's going to sound like this. Here's a minor seventh. Hold on, here it comes. So if you compare that to the major chord with the minor seventh, the major chord sounds like this. And the minor chord, it sounds like this. They're very similar. But the minor chord with the minor seventh is more complex in a way. We also have a diminished chord that you guys got very good at recognizing. A diminished chord wants to resolve. We feel its movement. Dark chord. Yeah. But we can add two different kinds of sevenths to that. We can add a minor seventh, giving us a diminished minor chord, or a half diminished seventh. That sounds like this. And you can feel that wanting to resolve, but it's kind of sort of a normal chord. Or we can have a full diminished chord with a diminished seventh. And that sounds like this. And that's the train whistle or Snidely Whiplash. So here's your half diminished. And here's your full diminished. Now, we're going to practice those next time, but we're going to start with just the majors and the minors, or probably just the two majors. We would add one chord at a time, but that's our goal, is to be able to hear these seventh chords and know what they are. It's very useful if you're taking off, if you've got a recording on, and your guitar is playing or piano, and you want to be able to play along with it. It's great to be able to hear, oh, that's a major chord, that's a minor chord. Then you can be very fast at taking these things off recordings. So I was going to say a record, but you have no idea what a record is. So we're going to start practicing those chords. You start looking at, remember the chords. We're going to continue to add triplets, so get used to that. We're going to continue to practice these intervals that are between a fourth, fifth, and sixth, where we get all confused, and get used to adding that leading tone sharp in the harmonic minor for our dictation. Those are the things to learn for the future. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, all.
I was wondering if you could set up a time to meet.
Yeah, let's set up a time to meet. Okay. That's what's a good time for you, and then I'll tell you which one doesn't work for me. What's a good time to meet?
I could meet today anytime between now and noon.
Anytime. So how about, how much time do you need? Do you need an hour, a half hour? How much time do you need?
Probably just half hour.
Let's meet at how about 10:30?
Okay, I can do
Okay,
it.
and I'll send you a link, okay?
Okay, thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Oh, I had a question.
Oh, yes, Daviel, go ahead. So, hold on one second. Okay. Okay, Daviel, sorry, my wife was just talking to me, but I'm here. So,
That's okay.
okay. All right, so I am here for you. What questions you got for me, Daviel?
Oh, I was just wondering if Collegium is meeting for the rest of
Yeah.
the quarter.
No, we're going to do it all online. So we're going to be, as they say in the business, asynchronous. Because every time I try to meet, no one shows up anyway. So,
Okay.
so I'm just going to be looking at the comments on the charts. No worries.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. You're welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye. Sorry. Sophie, do you want me? Sophie?
Hi, sorry, no, my screen froze for a second.
Oh, no problem. I was about to close up. I saw you there. I thought I shouldn't close up until I at least ask. Okay. I'll see you
I'm good,
tomorrow.
thanks.
Take care of yourself, okay?
Okay.
Bye-bye.